The dawn cycle on station Kepler 442 brought with it the familiar hum of life support systems and the soft glow of artificial sunrise through the viewport. Mira Thorne shuffled into the communal kitchen of Habitat Block 7, her hair still disheveled from sleep. Wearing her standard-issue gray jumpsuit, half-zipped over a faded Earthband t-shirt, she didn't notice the two sets of luminous eyes tracking her every movement from beneath the observation table. The coffee machine sat in its usual spot on the counter, a battered but beloved relic from Earth that Mira had paid 3 months' salary to have shipped across 17 light-years. It was worth every credit. In a station populated by 73 different species, each with their own dietary requirements and cultural beverages, Mira's coffee machine was her small piece of home. She pressed the power button. The machine gurgled to life, beginning its heating cycle with a series of mechanical groans and hisses that would have been comforting to any human who understood pre-warp Earth technology. To Rocky and Tivy, the two Carvathy cubs hiding under the table, it sounded like a predator waking up. The cubs tensed, their blue-gray fur bristling. Rocky, the larger of the two at barely 3 feet tall, bared needle-sharp teeth designed for tearing through the armored prey of their homeworld. Tivy, smaller but arguably fiercer, let out a low warning growl that rumbled in her chest. Mira, still half asleep, didn't hear them over the machine's noise. The Carvathy were apex predators from Carvath Prime, a world where evolution had favored strength, speed, and an unwavering protective instinct toward pack members. Adult Carvathy stood 7 feet tall, with claws that could shred durasteel. Their cubs, despite their size, possessed the same fierce loyalty that had made their species legendary across known space, as both feared warriors and surprisingly gentle diplomats. Rocky and Tivy had been on the station for 2 weeks, children of Ambassador Carvathy, who was negotiating mining rights in the nearby asteroid belt. In that time, they had become utterly devoted to Mira Thorne. It had started innocently enough. Mira had found them lost in Corridor 12, scared and chirping for their mother. She'd knelt down, offered them some of her lunch, and helped them navigate back to the diplomatic quarters. Since then, the cubs had decided that Mira was part of their pack, a packmate who clearly needed protection from the dangerous universe, especially from the torture device she insisted on using every morning. As steam began to rise from the coffee machine, both cubs erupted from their hiding spot. Mira. No! Rocky's translator collar barked in heavily accented standard as he launched himself toward the counter. Tivy was right behind him, claws scrabbling on the smooth floor. Burning thing! Danger! Mira yelped, jumping back as 2 small predators materialized between her and her precious coffee machine. They positioned themselves in a defensive stance, hackles raised, facing down the hissing machine as if it were a rogue combat drone. Guys, it's okay! Mira raised her hands in what she hoped was a calming gesture. This was the 4th morning in a row. It's just making coffee. It's not hurting me. Lies. Tivy snarled at the machine, which chose that moment to emit another jet of steam. It burns you. We smell the burning. Rocky nodded vigorously, his eyes never leaving the coffee machine. Every morning, you go to the burning box. It makes terrible sounds. It shoots hot steam. Then you drink the black poison it makes, and you smell like chemicals. Mira pinched the bridge of her nose. How did one explain coffee to species that had evolved on a planet where the ambient temperature never dropped below 40 degrees Celsius? It's not poison, she said slowly. Humans need coffee to wake up properly. The smell you're detecting is roasted coffee beans. The burning you're worried about is just hot water. I promise, it's completely safe. The cubs exchanged skeptical glances. Their translator collars rendered their rapid chittering into standard. But the steam looks like weapon discharge. And the liquid is dark, like engine waste. Why does she need it to wake up? Is she damaged? Mira sighed. She really needed that coffee to handle this conversation. Okay, how about this? She said, moving slowly toward the cabinet. Both cubs tensed, ready to intercept any threat. Let me show you it's safe. I'll make the coffee, and you can watch the whole process. Deal? Rocky's ears flattened against his head. We watch to protect you from burning box. Sure, buddy, whatever helps. Over the next 15 minutes, Mira walked the cubs through the entire coffee-making process. She showed them the beans, let them sniff the grounds, explained the heating element, and demonstrated that the steam was just water vapor. They remained suspicious but curious, their natural intelligence warring with their protective instincts. When the coffee finally brewed, filling the kitchen with its rich aroma, Mira poured herself a cup. She took a deliberate sip while maintaining eye contact with both cubs. See? Not dead, not burned, just caffeinated. Tivy tilted her head, one ear up and one down. But why do humans need this ritual? Are you weak in the morning? And there it was. The question that cut to the heart of the HFY paradox that baffled so many species. Humans were simultaneously the most resilient and most fragile species in the galactic community. Mira sat down at the table, letting the cubs hop up beside her. You know how your species hunts in the dark because you have night vision? They nodded. And you can run for hours without tiring because your muscles are super efficient? More nods. Humans don't have those advantages. We evolved as persistence hunters on a world that wasn't particularly suited for apex predators. Rocky's tail swished thoughtfully. Then how did humans survive? We adapted, Mira said simply. We learned to use tools, work together, and most importantly, we learned to change our environment to suit us instead of waiting for evolution. Coffee is part of that. It's a tool, like everything else we create. It helps us be alert when our biology says we should still be sleeping. That sounds like cheating, Tivy observed. Mira laughed. Yeah, well, humans are really good at finding creative solutions to our limitations. It's kind of our thing. The cubs considered this in silence. Finally, Rocky spoke. So the burning box is actually a survival tool? Like our claws? Exactly like your claws. But it still could malfunction and hurt you. Mira couldn't argue with that logic. I suppose technically, yes. But so could a lot of things on a space station. I trust my equipment. Both cubs sat up straighter. Some decision made between them in that wordless way pack animals communicated. Then we will learn about coffee machines, Rocky declared. If it is part of your survival, we must understand it to protect you better. And we will guard you while you drink the black liquid, Tivy added. In case you are wrong about the poison. Mira felt an unexpected warmth in her chest that had nothing to do with the coffee. Here were two cubs from a species that could probably snap her spine without trying, and they had appointed themselves her protectors against the horrors of breakfast beverages. You know what, guys? That sounds perfect. The next morning, when Mira entered the kitchen, she found Rocky and Tivy already there, sitting alert beside the coffee machine. Rocky had even figured out how to press the power button with his paw. We started the heating cycle, he announced proudly. We observed the procedure 17 times yesterday, to ensure we understood the protocol. Tivy nodded seriously. The burning box is now under pack protection. We have determined it is not a threat. It is a pack tool. Mira had to blink back tears as she prepared her coffee, flanked by two fierce predator cubs who had decided that her morning ritual was now worth defending. It was absurd and touching, and perfectly representative of life on a multi-species station. As she took her first sip, both cubs watched intently, relaxed but alert. Not because they feared the machine anymore, but because protecting pack came first, always, even if that pack member was a strange, tool-dependent human who needed a chemical boost to face the day. Thanks, guys, Mira said softly. Rocky chittered, his translator rendering it as, pack protects pack. Even from burning boxes that turn out to be coffee makers. Outside the viewport, Kepler 442 continued its rotation, carrying its cargo of humans, Carvathy, and 71 other species through the void. And in Habitat Block 7, a human and two predator cubs shared a moment of perfect understanding over a cup of coffee and the universal language of found family. The coffee machine hissed contentedly. No longer a threat, but an accepted member of the pack.